Scott's the Managing Director of Davey. They've developed various applications for local government and other industries. The background to the presentation this morning is the local government pulled together their interest in an incident management system in response to emergency management needs. Through the MAV procurement went to tender, and the product that was selected out of that tender was the MECC Central product, which is currently used by Alpine Shire Council, and Scott's going to give us a bit of background as to what's happening with that rollout. Thanks, Scott.
Alright, who's hungry for lunch? I know I am. And who loves these things too? These are pretty good too. Now, that's me, right. Okay, so 4 years ago we started a project. The topic of this conference is all about solutions. We're a solutions company. We worked with Alpine Shire initially to develop MECC Central. We've rolled it out to Ballarat, and thank you, and also Yarra Ranges. And in the meantime, the MAV tender came along, and we've picked that one up as well. The MAV have proxied 69 councils votes on that, so chances are your municipality will be seeing this in the short term. So what I'll do is just give you a bit of background as to why this system is needed. If any of these seem familiar to you, it's because they're Victorian. But it's not just for the big events. If you're in the metro area, you're still subject to these sort of things. Risk of those sort of things. Latrobe have these sort of things going on at the moment. St Kilda have these sort of things going on. So MECC Central runs the incident management component. It runs the recovery as well for incidents that are from local through to regional through to statewide. It also helps with the planning. So if ever you see yourself going to be in this sort of situation, then that's when MECC Central will be activated. So it's not just for MECC emergencies, local incidents, even activating it preemptively is what you'll be using it for. But I'm not here today to actually talk about that so much. I'm here today to give you an update as to the rollout, and also to give you the IT requirements for supporting it. Right, so while I was flicking through some of the screens, I thought I'd just today go through the standard operating environment, compatibility, integration, security, redundancy, all those sort of things. Support and training is a key issue to talk about too. Now, just a bit about it. It's a cloud-based system. We all love the cloud at the moment. It's taking care of emergency response, recovery. It's a shared service. As I say, 69 councils are participating in this. And the other thing that it does, other than incident management, is it takes care of the entire emergency life cycle, from preparedness through to response through to recovery. And I mean, if any of you have been involved in Black Saturday and even the floods last year, you will know that recovery goes for about a year, whereas the response goes for about 2 weeks. So this is a system that will run for a long time, and it's going to be used by your MIROs, by your MRMs. We've also had tremendous excitement from the agencies who use this, the SES, the police, and as part of this project we're also talking with the Bureau of Meteorology, the SES, the police, CFA, to get data sharing arrangements into it. So the word central is really quite apt for it. It is a central place to go to manage the incident. Now, what you can see here is how it gets used, some of the scenarios. That's when your MECC is activating, and call centres and those sort of things. Our intention is, and a lot of our customers, and certainly in the pilot, are using it for local incidents. So not just for the big emergency. So it's almost like a trouble ticketing system for municipal events, for trees down and for maintenance and those sort of things. Although it's not for that particularly, it can be used for that. It's actually focused and being constructed more for emergency recovery, but it can be used for the local day-to-day type running it as well. Right, all right, there's all the pretty pictures. We're going to get into a few slides of detail and then lunch. Standard operating environment, it's browser-based and it's a cloud service. Now, IE 6 and 7, compatible. As technology ages and gets outdated, we will move them out of scope and put into scope the more compelling devices. IE 8 and 9 are our favourites at the moment for the Internet platform, Internet Explorer platform. Firefox 3, Safari, Chrome. We love these things, so they work really, really well on iPads. In fact, they've got a specific design for iPad. Also iPhone, BlackBerry, Android. All you need to know is it runs over HTTPS. There's nothing really configurable at your firewall to worry about. And email will come to and from a MECCCentral.com domain. As a shared service, it's also has a particular inter-council type connectivity, but because we're hosting in the cloud and we're hosting all the councils, then you don't have to worry about opening firewall ports for that either. So what you need to do to prepare for this, if my clicker's going to work, maybe not. Basically, you don't have to really do anything to prepare for that. There's something good. I mentioned we support tablets. We support the modern ones too. Right, integration. So there are 2 points currently of integration that you can choose. First is the GIS integration. We use GeoRSS and KML feeds in 2 directions. They're open standards. Most GIS platforms support that, or at least should support that. If they do, then you don't need to really worry about firewall ports and things like that. It's basically just a matter of consuming HTTP feeds. Property data, well, out of the box you'll get Google Maps property data, so you can reverse geocode property data out of the Google database. However, I recognise that a lot of councils have problems with that, especially when they've got new estates. So we also support CSV uploads of property data in a particular format. It's quite easy to prepare. We've got a few councils doing this already. It takes them, a few minutes to do that after they've had an initial GIS session to try to build up the scripts. And Council View, which is another one of our products. So if you've got that going, then you've already got that import going. As I said, the MECC-to-MECC data sharing, the idea behind this is to allow you to resource share between councils. So not just when you've got a local incident, you might actually need the next door's grader or something like this, but also for statewide or regional incidents where there needs to be a shared or common operating picture across the MECCs, and even a merging of MECCs in a very large scenario. So we're taking care of that. There's also an ability to access the SQL data directly for crystal reporting and other methods. So if your IT department wants to delve into that type of thing, then they're quite welcome to do so. That's really what you have to do though, if you want the standard setup. Alright, so it is cloud-based. It's running across 2 data centres. Normally at data link the word cloud is outlawed because at the end of the day we're the guys who have to actually also understand what happens inside it. So it's very easy to think about a cloud as something where you can set and forget and let the vendor trust it, but as vendors we've actually professionally engineered it. This cloud is not just using Amazon EC2 or something like that. They're not yet running in Australia, so you've got data protection issues with that. However, we've got 2 professionally engineered data centres. We're actually data centre redundant with this system. So there's one in Melbourne, one in Sydney. We can do live switching between the 2 if there is an incident that takes out that data centre. And I'll note that last year with the flooding that there was an A-grade data centre in Melbourne that went out for 8 hours. So it's no good to just have a single point of failure like that, even if it is a single company. We do secure replication between those systems, rapid upscaling based on load. In terms of security, there's PCI DSS, which is the data security standard made up by the payment the payment industry, so Visa and MasterCard and those guys. And because we do a lot of e-commerce, we're aware of these standards. So what we do is we do penetration testing and security audits and things like that on our infrastructure and maintain it to those standards. We also provide all of the uptime guarantees and things like that. So again, that's what you've got to do if you want to actually use our system. Support. Well, we've got a service desk set up as part of the tender, as part of the shared service. There's phone, email, online. It's a standard 9 to 5 service in normal times. If you have an incident, then you can escalate that to an extended hour service. You can go 24/7. We always run a 24/7 system monitoring and response service, so that happens regardless, so it'll be available all that time. And that's important, even if you don't have an incident running, then with MECC Central, it's always accessible for planning purposes. So the EMMV manuals will be up there, and the the standard operating procedures and things like that, contact lists and directories. There's an outage notification list you'll want to sign up for as an IT manager or have somebody in your department monitor. For training, now this is probably the key thing for IT departments. Typically IT will be involved in supporting this when the MECC opens. So we've got roadshows that are starting on Monday, going for the next 3 weeks. Details of them are on our website, and I'll give you that at the end, and you can contact me too. It's all around Victoria, and so there'll be one near you. And the roadshows provide familiarity at the very start. We've also got WebEx webinars that are running regularly, so you can actually get one of your staff to sign up to a webinar to get familiar with what we're doing here. We're creating for November some training certifications, and there's different levels of those, one of which will be IT support, so that you can get your IT guys to be able to, it's effectively like a train-the-trainer style of program that we can do. We also have those types of resources available for you. We have courses on WebEx in Melbourne office. We also can go on site for council MECC simulations, and there are fees for those sort of things, as you'd expect. But the core service provision and the hosting and the support and all those sort of things is a single flat fee, which has already been submitted through the MAV process. So anybody who's been across that will already know those. The rollout schedule. Well, from August 15, which is only on Monday, through to August 31, we've got the roadshow. There's, I think, 9 different sites that we're going to. There's 2 Melbourne-based ones. We're all over the place. We're starting at La Trobe in Morwell on Monday. September 15, jumping forward a month and a half, it's the last day to be able to sign up for the 2011 rollout. If we don't meet that day for you, then we don't get you going for the bushfire season. It's going to have to be next year. Registrations for the training sessions will also open then. So we're aiming at rolling out November 15 to all of the councils that are signed up for this November's sign-up process. Training should start around that time as well. We'll have probably some advanced options for those sort of things to get on board as well. But the aim for us is to be ready before the bushfire season for rural councils. And obviously it's not just bushfires that we're protecting against. With that in mind, all we need to do is keep these things in mind, and we can go and get some lunch. Well, there's 69 councils, shared service. Your council's probably on it. It's probably on the list at least. Cloud-based, no firewall changes required, no new infrastructure. Integration, well, there is GIS integration that to be considered. Information about that will be forwarded through and it will be available on our website. The key thing about this is that it is optional, but it's also easy to do. There is advanced integration options available, and we can, as a solutions company, integrate to anything you've got. However, we've come up with some standard things that will work for pretty much anybody. The roadshows in the next 3 weeks, and the sign-up date by September 15. There's the website address, meccentral.com. It is a data link product. And many of you have seen me before, and you know that we are a solutions company, which makes it fit quite well into this conference. So thanks very much for your time, and enjoy your lunch.